You can all stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you can remain standing, I'll ask Mrs. Creighton to lead us in prayer tonight. Mrs. Creighton.
With every head bowed and every eye closed, Father God, in the name of Jesus, we come before you this evening. First, asking your forgiveness for those things that were said, thought, or even imagined that was not according to your will and way. For every family that's represented in this place, Lord God, allow us to come together for your will, for your purpose, and your plan. Lord, we lift up our mayor, we lift up our trustees, we lift up every departmental head. We lift up the citizens of the village of Dolton so that we may all move in the right direction. Father God, we ask these things in your name, and all of God's people said, Amen. Amen.
Trustee Vendel?
Here.
Trustee Pearson?
Here.
Trustee Smith? Trustee Hunt?
I'm present.
Trustee Brown?
Here.
Trustee Hendricks?
Present.
Let the record reflect the trustee, Brady Smith is not here. We do have a quorum. Mr. Irvin, were you notified of trustee Smith's absence?
I was. They sent out an email earlier, or late this afternoon, saying that she was under the weather and she apologized for not being able to make it.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Village clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, everyone. On the agenda under the village clerk's report, you see approval of minutes of a number of meetings. I would ask for approval tonight of the special board meeting of July 28th, the emergency special board meeting of July 31st, and the regular board meeting of August 4th. If there are no corrections to be made individually, I would ask for a motion to approve all three. And I am also asking that the minutes of the regular board meeting of the committee of the whole of August 18th be approved.
I have a request for a change for August 4th, regular meeting. Do I have to say no on the change first? Okay, well, first, just on page 6, letter C, when it says the IAFF union negotiation, I like, it says discussion followed by one to be noted that the village manager has made attempts to contact the union lawyer to set a meeting to negotiation. The union lawyer has not returned the village phone calls. And that's on page 6, letter C. I'd like to make a motion to make that amendment to reflect summary.
Second.
My only comment to that, trustee, is just listen to the tape of the conversation through the interactive meeting. It may have been part of other discussions, but it's not addressed at the actual meeting on August 4th. What trustee Hunt had proposed to be added to minutes was not discussed at the meeting of August 4th.
I'd like to get a take. I'm not quite sure what was discussed, because we just had a discussion. I thought that was one of the points that we couldn't get an update, but we can't contact the board. Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like it was discussed there. They had one sentence said discussion with no details. So that was one of the major things we talked about, that we could not get in contact with the board.
Attorney Murphy, did you have any contact with the attorneys for the fire department?
Yeah, we have a date, September 16th. I think Robert's talking about what was set back on that day, right, Robert?
Correct.
Okay, we have a motion.
Well, I have to.
Hold on, before we discuss it together. We have a motion, we have a second. Can we get a roll call, and then we'll discuss it? What? We got a motion, we got a second, you want to discuss it? We'll discuss it.
Can't be further discussion on the amendment, just on the amendment.
So on that, so to the members, so would that correctly with trustee Hunt saying?
I can't tell, I remember there was discussion, because it was spirited discussion. But I don't remember exactly what was said.
And that's all that was asked about, because we just want to give the clarification on what we discussed. That's it.
Well, we have two choices. We need a motion to add the additional language, which is up to a vote now, or you can take it to the president.
Oh, I don't have to.
So we have a motion, and do we have a second?
Just to amend as per trustee Hunt's motion.
Was it stated on tape?
I don't know.
It's not my recollection. Maybe, but it's not my recollection.
So we're gonna vote on it?
You got to vote on the amendment.
So we're having discussion right now, right?
Right.
So if we don't know what was in the minutes because it was closed session, we now know that it was open session? And it wasn't on the tape on the open session?
I don't recollect it. It's on the tape. It was discussion, so trustee Hunt may very well be right. We just can't confirm it.
Mary Kay, what are the minutes you don't want to approve?
On the tape.
Robert, is it okay if we just defer those efforts from the 31st?
On the score.
You want to just defer that and then take a listen?
No, I mean, we can, I would like us to go for this vote if they know what I mean.
Take a roll call.
That's the facts.
I don't know the facts, so
I
I
don't
can't
know
vote on
the
it.
facts either.
What did you say?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, roll call.
Trustee Mendel?
No.
Trustee Pearson?
No.
Trustee Smith, absent. Trustee Hunt?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Hunt?
Yes.
3-2, passes.
3 yeas, 2 nays. Motion passed.
I'd like to make a motion to approve a special board meeting, minutes July 28th, July 31st, and then minutes August 4th, 2014.
Yeah, this is what they're doing.
As written.
Second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded to approve the special board meetings for July 28th, July 31st, and the regular board meeting August 4th. Any discussion?
I can't vote on the 31st because I don't know where it's at. That's why I can't vote on all of that.
Well, I think you can just vote and it'll be reflected that you're abstaining on it.
No further discussion, roll call.
Trustee Mendel?
Yes.
Trustee Pearson?
Yes, we'll abstain.
Trustee Hunt?
Yes.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Mendel? Yes.
Okay. 5 yes. With trustee Pearson abstaining from the regular board meetings on July 31st. Special board meeting. Okay.
We've got one announcement this evening.
I'm working on the regular board meeting, but I think that's done. Communication.
We have a request from Dolton Bears Youth Football and Cheerleading from Treasurer Lufrida Shine, Mayor and Village Board. This letter is written on behalf of the Dolton Bears Youth Football and Cheerleading Program, a program with over 400 children ages 6 through 14 years old, over 120 adult volunteers. We'd like to request permission from the village to CAD, the Village of Dolton, to raise funds for teen uniforms. The dates are set forth. Saturdays and Sundays through September, beginning September 6th.
This is where they're on the corner requesting funds. Okay. All right, I noticed like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, they were on the corner at Lincoln and Civil. And I got a problem with that. But I think it was a little bit more adult supervision there. I saw one lady standing on the curb and the kids staff, you kind of present a danger there, so I think that there needs to be some more monitoring. You know, we can notify the police that they'll be out there, because there's some traffic was coming through there kind of fast. I have no objection to it.
Mayor, Mr. Mayor, in the past, I remember when, before, there was only a few days that were allowed per year for people to do this. If I can remember back, previous to the last 2 years.
Well, I'm not sure.
Is there somewhere an amount of days that you can ask for? Because this is going to be 8 days, and they already did some this year that we approved earlier.
Well, I'm not sure if there's an ordinance in place that requires there's a certain specific amount of days that they can do it. Just a shame.
What you did earlier, that was for WA team, the basketball, football and cheerleading. We have 2 programs, basketball and basketball.
I'm not sure, but Madam Clerk, is there any restrictions in regards to ordinance? No restrictions. Okay. I got no objection. Do we need to vote on this? Okay. Can we get a motion? Motion to do the tag day.
I make a motion that allow them to do the tag day.
Second.
Okay, so the motion is seconded to allow the Dolton Bears youth football and cheerleading program to provide 8 days of tag for a collection of funds for their program. Roll call.
Trustee Bendel?
Aye.
Trustee Pearson?
Aye.
Trustee Smith? Trustee Hunt?
Aye.
Trustee Brown?
Aye.
Trustee Henry?
Motion carried 5 ayes. Good luck on your tag days. Okay. Any further communication? You know, one thing we didn't do is, for the record, we did not note that our department heads is here, village administrator, and our engineer, along with our village attorney, John Murphy. So we can do that now.
Mr. Mayor, I can't hear you.
Okay, I'll read that. Let's go to the next slide. Engineers report.
Thank you this evening, Mayor, Madam Clerk, trustees, and residents of the Village of Dolton. Before you is a brief summary of projects or grant funding opportunities for the Village of Dolton. The first item I have, there is a firefighter small equipment grant that's out of the Office of the State Fire Marshal. The grant is due September 30th, 2014. There is no match. Statewide funds available is $1 million. The max award is $26,000. The equipment that can be awarded specifically for this grant is personal protective equipment, self-containing breathing apparatus, cylinder tanks, flashlights, cylinder fill stations, and handheld radios. Also extrication tools and airlifting bags, etc. I gave a copy of the grant to the fire chief. He said that the village was successful in the last grant I provided, that they were awarded that grant. So hopefully we'll be successful when he applies for this grant, which again is due September 30th. Also enclosed in your report is the tank inspection report. Robinson Engineering, along with Dixon Engineering, compiled the report. There's a brief overview of that inspection report. It's for the 3 million gallon fluted column steel elevated tank. That's the one off of Ingle and Sibley Boulevard. Okay, enclosing that report, it's a summary of recommendations. Also, there's a cost estimate for those recommendations. In your spare time, review it. If you have any questions concerning the report, feel free to give myself a call or my colleague Jennifer Prince at our office. And that concludes my report this evening.
Okay, are you going to complete the grant application for the fire department?
The fire department has capable staff, and they typically do the grant application themselves. If they have any questions about anything, they typically contact my grant department, so at the office. Any other questions?
Why was Dixon brought in here on the joint engineering project?
Basically, we went out for bids for the tank inspection. Dixon has the equipment to provide the, basically the POV inspection. Basically, they have equipment that they drop down in the tank to camera the interior of the tank. So that's why. Plus, they have the people that are experienced, but they have to actually clamp the tank at the top and take photos and inspect it. So you have to have a special license too for the height of the tank to do that. So that is why.
Mr. Robinson Engineering had a meeting last Monday on the places that are shelters for the bus, the people waiting on the bus. I didn't see any information come back from that meeting.
There was no meeting last Monday.
Was it the Monday before?
There was no meeting the Monday before.
That was going to pick which one of the bus?
No, there was no meeting. There was just basically a query done with the board to see which shelters that the board wanted.
And did we get a?
It was the majority of the board picked the, I think the most popular, the Courier shelter. And all the shelters will be lit. We were under a deadline, I think, for last Monday to make sure that we had our choice in, or they weren't going to be able to order those shelters this year and get them in place. Along with me submitting the Courier as the pick for the village, what I also did was to kindly request to PACE that some of the bus shelters that they are going to remove, can we actually have those in locations where we currently don't have bus shelters? And they said they would oblige. So they're going to work with Public Works on relocating those existing shelters. PACE will they'll remove them, but we have to direct them on where we want them put for them to reinstall them.
Now, the new shelters are going to have lighting.
The new shelters will be solar lit, and then also, as part of the agreement that the village did sign, they're going to have the advertisements outside of the shelters, and I think every March, the village will receive a check from PACE, and the checks range between $25,000 to maybe $45,000, depending on how many shelters and depending on the advertisement, but there will be no liquor or alcohol. Or cigarettes signs that'll be advertisements on shelters.
Can the shelters that are there now, and they're going to move and put them in locations that really don't have shelters, can it be modified for lights?
No.
Even with the solar? Even with the solar?
No, they can't be. All of the new PACE bus shelters are all solar, but they're designed, you can't kind of retrofit them to take the new solar panels and stuff that they have, so they have to order them, and it's kind of all comes together. So it would be nice if they could, but that's my understanding.
All right, any further questions?
Do we have a time frame for them to be installed?
No, we do not. First, they have to order them. Once the order comes in, then I'll be contacting myself and Public Works on installation. But again, I wouldn't say it would be happening more than within the next 3 months. I would expect. Hopefully, it's before the winter hits. But I can only check with PACE and get back with you on that to see if they do have a timeline on when the shelters will be coming in once they order them.
All right, thank you, Mr. Smith.
Well, I'd like to ask, Smith, comfortable during the cold months?
No, it's my understanding that it's just solar powered, that they'll be lit, but I don't, there was, and when I reviewed the specifications, the catalog cuts, none of them were heated, so they just were solar powered. For light. I don't think they actually come with heat. I don't think any of them come with heat. Because if they came with heat, then you would have to actually run some type of electrical service to that, so you can have the, kind of the heated lamps up at the top. So none of the PACE bus shelters have electrical, we don't run electrical current to the PACE bus shelters for heat, so. seen any.
Exactly.
But I can always check and see.
Maybe you did come up with something.
I'll check and see.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Okay, Mr. Irvin.
Thank you, Mayor. You want to go into police and fire with the trustees and all that
Yeah.
stuff first, or?
Yeah, well. Is there any reports?
Trustee Pearson,
Yeah.
with police and fire.
Good evening, everyone. From Fire Chief Terry Hughes, August 4th to September 1st, the fire department responded to 356 calls. There was 269 EMS calls, 53 fire-related calls, 22 motor vehicle accidents, 12 CO calls. At this point, we are 431 calls ahead of last year's pace. The fire department has been drilling at the property at 1002 California. Drilling there doing fire training. I invite any and all trustees to come out and see what we do. You're also invited to participate. We will put you in here and bring you in so you can experience what we go through. If you would like to do that, let me know so we can have you come in and fit you for gear before we go out to the house. Also, school is back in session. Please be careful around school zones and slow down. From Police Chief John Franklin, during the time period of August 24th through September 1st, 2014, the Dolton Police Department received 513 calls for service. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Public Works report, trustee Bendel.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Dawn report for the month of August 2014, Public Works responded to 446 requests for service. 69 water meters installed for the month. Maintenance of vehicles, 2 dump trucks, 1 trailer, and hay loader. 3 police cars and 2 housing cars. 41 loader pickups, 64 requests for Julie locations, 12 sewer complaints, 20 street lights repaired, 237 branches picked up. Please do not put your trash out before the night before pickup. Put all bulk items into your garbage container. Tree branches, cut them up at 3 to 4 foot sections, and so the Homewood disposal will pick them up. Also, let us know if you see any water main breaks, and please watch out for the children going back to school, because they're going back to school and they could run out between cars. Also, the basketball hoops, if anybody's got basketball hoops, 20 feet off of the street for their protection. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Bendel. Housing, trustee Bendel.
Thank you. Good evening, residents. Thank you for coming out after the holiday. First, I have 3 reports on, of course, one of my own. First, I'm starting with the housing report. August 1st to August 31st, we had 32 as-is sales, 9 sale inspections, 42 escrow release inspections, 30 escrow deposits, 21 escrow refunds, 13 quick claims, 20 judicial, 41 rental licenses, 200 rental inspections, 47 vacant property permits, and 6 trucks. And the amount of money we brought in was $31,590 for housing. Next, I have building permits. I have 42 building permits, 11 concrete, 35 electrical, 4 fence, 5 HVAC, 21 plumbing, 30 roofing, and 11 window permits. We brought in a total of $19,287 for building. Next, we have code enforcement report. There's no dollar amount, but we have written 537 tickets, 71 tickets paid prior to court, and 23 written warnings issued. Next, I have my very own report. The Village of Dolton has partnered with an organization called UCAN. They are located located at 13700 South Indiana in Riverdale. This organization has a summer youth program that pays youth $9 an hour. If you are interested in this program, you can apply at www.illinoisworknet.com, or you can dial 708-201-3042. Copies are left on the table to my right, and you can also find this posted on our webpage. Next, the Village of Dolton are still hiring for the following positions. We still are looking for a clerk for the water department, 3 part-time police officers, and Denise, are we looking for anybody in housing, building inspector, anybody?
Yes.
And 1 building inspector. And if you need something to do this coming October, someone that I know has a vehicle. It's called Calls for Paws. She has a dog service that she comes to your location and wash and groom your dog. I also place the flyers to my right. And finally, what everyone's been waiting for. Yay! Dolton's first housing auction is finally here. All our properties are clear, our titles. So, the first property that we are selling is 14732 Clark. The PIN number is 2909216006, followed by 4 zeros. The next property we're auctioning is 14446 Park. PIN number 29033130016, followed by 4 zeros. The next property we're auctioning is 430 East 144th Street. PIN number 29033101019, followed by 4 zeros. Just to give you a brief overview of some rules that we're putting into play. Bidder must have be a Dolton resident, so that means you have to live in our village. So say for instance, you want to buy for your child, you can do that. Bidder must have proof of funds to do the repairs. Winner of bid must reside in the house for a minimum of 3 years. And once again, someone can bid on a house and buy for their child, but their child must reside in that house for 3 years. No, you cannot rent this property. You have to live in the property. The property must be bought up to code within 120 days, which is 4 months. The property must pass final inspection prior to the end of 120-day period. FYI, we just passed the ordinance, I don't know if it was early this year or last year, lowering escrow. Escrow is only $500. So that means you only have to put up $500. Back in the past, we had to put up $4,000 depending on what work was needed. So $500 is for homeowners. Bidding will start at $500. That's only just to entice people to join in to the bid. That means you're going to win the house for $500. We are showing the properties, the 3 that I mentioned, this Sunday, September 7th, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. So come and view the property and bring your contractor so he can tell you what you're getting yourself into. This is only for serious bidders. So don't jump in the race if you're not ready. My last statement, if you do not finish the house within 120 days, you will forfeit your bid in funds and the house will belong back to the Village of Dolton. Understand that we are selling these homes undervalued because we want to rebuild our community and place it back onto the tax roll. And last, I'll just repeat the 3 addresses: 14732 Clark, 14446 Park, 430 East 144th Street. If you have any questions, you can see myself, Mr. Urban, or Denise, or you can follow our webpage. Thank you.
I got some questions, Trustee. Trustee Henry.
Sure.
How are we setting up, or how are you setting up to show these houses, to have the auction, and this never came in front of the board?
This did come in front of the board. We always had a consensus saying that we can do auction.
What came in front of the board?
That we was liquidating our properties. I announced it every time in my report.
But what I'm saying is, how are you going to decide?
I didn't decide anything.
Well, you passed out the rules. You said it was yours too.
Right, it's under my report, so of course I'm owning it. I'm reading it. I'm not blaming on nobody else. I'm reading it.
You said in last week that this was yours. So how do we come up with the rules? How do we come up with the bidding process? How do we come up with the starting bidding process? How do we come up with the dates to show them? I don't think I wasn't aware of it. I'm not sure if any other trustees were. And how do you come up with how it reverts back to the village. You know, those,
I spoke to Attorney Murphy, since you must know.
okay,
And I crossed my T's and dotted my I's to make sure I can announce what I'm announcing.
okay. Now, please, tell me, I mean, there's some decisive decisions here that you have made that never went in front of the board.
Okay.
What I said to Tiffany is that any final deal has got to come to the board for approval.
Have to get a resolution.
And, you know, this is up to the board for discussion if the board wants, you know.
How do you know that this board, how do you know that this board is in approval of the starting date, the showing date, the starting bid, the rules, the reverting of the property back?
Anything can be changed. Anybody can voice their opinion.
But what I'm
And
saying-
we can change anything on it. This is not in stone. This is me getting the ball rolling. We've been talking about auction for a while. So now, he found out that all the property was clear, and he told me I can do my auction. So that's what I did. I announced in my auction, and I talked to him.
I mean, you trustees, are you aware of any of these?
I'm confused. Who's auction and then off?
I'm saying matters because...
Who's gonna auction it off?
But of course, I can't do nothing without the trustees.
Who's auctioning
The
the
village of Dolton, I said it.
the village of Dolton?
Yes.
Who in the village of Dolton is
There's
auctioning?
no particular person. For instance, Urban would take the lead and Denise would take the lead. I'm the trustee that's over housing. So I'm just announcing my report.
But this is confusing to me.
I think we gotta put this on the agenda to be passed as a resolution, am I correct? Okay, so this is just, we have to do that.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay, so
So me, I'm just
so
announcing what's
we might not be able to have it September 7th.
No, that's a showing. We're not
Oh, that's
selling
just a
anything.
showing.
It's not
Oh.
a bidding process.
Oh,
It's
okay.
nothing. It's just for them to go in and analyze and say,
Oh, okay,
who's going to
okay.
bid on this property?
I would think that there's certain rules that have to be followed when you're doing an auction, whether you have an auctioneer and/or when you have sealed bids. But certainly, I'm not sure. Denise, you got experience in doing auctions? Mr. Urban? You're an auctioneer? Okay.
Either one of them is an auctioneer. Both of them, we have a company. Either we're going to do it online bidding or we might do it in-house. The attorney advised me to either have a sealed bid and have it come here to the village or do it online. So we are doing the right steps. I don't understand what's all the friction.
Not all friction, it's about these questions.
I just made an announcement saying that we're showing them 3 properties, they are available for
You
sale.
made an announcement in regards to how the auction was going to be carried out. And that hasn't been determined yet.
No, I did not.
And I think it should have been shared. I think it should-
I didn't tell them where to go bid at. I told them rules to
I heard
what
what you
we're
said.
saying.
I heard what you said. I'm saying all this should have been discussed with other trustees prior to even setting up a showing, I would think.
Yeah, I want people to go see if they're getting something.
Who's doing the showing?
The board is what we're doing. The board.
All the boards going out
Any of
this
the
summer?
trustees can go and show the properties, but Denise is taking lead on the viewings.
Well, this probably should have came at a conference where it could have been discussed instead of being surprised. You did mention it to me before the day's meeting, but I didn't know anything about it before. I knew we were talking about auctioning off the property, but I didn't know anything had been set in motion.
I say that this,
I have no problem getting it back on the tax rolls. It just should have came to a council meeting first.
Well, we need to know who the auctioneer is going to be because I don't know how many people have done auctions here.
I have,
You've done auctions?
I have not.
Oh,
I say on this city, this is a great idea. I just asked Trustee Henry, we look at pushing the date back because it seems some question.
Yeah, it's up for discussion. If anybody want to make any suggestions or changes, we can. So we can do all that right now. So whatever people want to suggest, flag, not only.
Yeah, I think it's a great starting point, but maybe we can just move this to the next Cal meeting,
So what date you want?
the next standard meeting.
No, it's September 16th.
So I would say just put it on September 2nd. Just to discuss, because my real concern too is, I don't know, can we mandate someone live into a house for 3 years as part of the condition to buy it?
I hope so.
Well, it's our property, and I think we can pretty much do whatever we
We
want.
can.
The question is, what's the penalty? And,
That would HUD order.
All right, I guess we can talk about that more in the
2 or
council.
3 years. Denise?
3.
3 years, something. Okay, I just think there's some issues that need to be discussed prior to getting out there. And if we're going to hold an auction, we have to make sure that we do it under the proper guidelines that are required for an auction, to hold an auction. I know most auctions aren't done by the company and or ownership. I know they're usually done by auctioneers, and it's usually a premium fee that is paid. But certainly if we do it, we want to make sure that we do it right in regards to litigation and how we do it.
Tiffany and I just spoke this morning, we have to prepare a master contract too. I think what you're looking for is there general board consensus to move forward with moving these things forward?
Correct.
And I think it sounds like yes, but it sounds like you want to kind of grind through these details of the COW. Stan, isn't it the 15th, not the 16th? Isn't it Monday the 15th?
Yes, it is
Oh,
the
yeah, the meeting,
15th. I'm sorry, I said the 16th. 15th.
Okay, next report, Trustee Smith, she's not here today. So Dan, you want to? Yes,
So
sir.
we're looking at bumping back to the county on the 15th,
Yes,
and hopefully we get some discussion between me and.
right. And I would suggest that we have an auctioneer. There's no, yourself and Ms. Fields said they had no experience in that. I would think that we need to, if we're going to auction these properties off, we need to auction them in a professional manner. Okay, Mr. Irvin, you want to give a report for the?
I'm not prepared to give any report on either one of those topics.
All right, okay, we'll go to Trustee Brown. Trustee Brown, you?
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to give another kudos out to Jackie Robinson West youth baseball. They did with Dolton. We came up short. Coach Cleo and myself, we came up 2 games short of getting the Williams for it some years ago. So we definitely take our head off to Jackie Robinson. We know how tough it is. We actually went through Galesburg, Illinois, then we went to Creek, then we went to Stagle, and we went to Shelbyville, Indiana, and we were just 2 games away from making it. So Jackie Robinson did a great thing. I'd like to touch on the Dolton Bears youth football and cheerleading. They actually played this past Saturday and Sunday at Dolton Park, and they actually played against New Lenox, their top rival. And New Lenox brought at least 225 people to the park this past Saturday and Sunday, 2 days in a row. So we had about a good 200 people. So the park was filled with a lot of enjoyment. And it was a big culture shock out there. It was in all colors out there. It went real good. Oh yes, I'm feeling it on, sir. Our Dolton Bears Gold Lights, they defeated New Lenox 32-6. The Dolton Bears varsity defeated New Lenox 26-24. We won that in the last 10 seconds of the game. Dolton Bears Black Lights lost to New Lenox 12-6. That was Saturday. Sunday, Dolton Bears Black Widgets defeated New Lenox 28-7. Dolton Bears Gold Widgets defeated New Lenox 42-7. Dolton Bears Gold Pee-Wees defeated New Lenox 32-0. Dolton Bears Black Pee-Wees defeated New Lenox 39-20. Dolton Bears Junior Mighty Mites tied New Lenox 7-7. So we had a great time at the park this past Saturday, Sunday. Good weather, a lot of good things went on out there, and it's just a plus. If you want to get a schedule of the Dolton Bears, you can go on www.doltonbears.com and catch all their home games because it's very enlightening. Real good man. Also, I'd like to speak on the Illinois High School Association. They're looking for referees, male and females, for basketball, volleyball, water polo in all your southwest suburban high school. And the salary range anywhere from $45 to $65. And so it's a good little hustle. It's a good exercise for male and female of all ages that have good need to run up and down that court. It'd be good to get involved in that.
That's per game?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. When you do like a freshman game, you get anywhere from $45 to $55. When you do a varsity game, you get anywhere from $55 to $65. Some schools give you an extra couple of dollars to do it, but it's a great enjoyment to be a Illinois high school official. I've been blessed to do it for the past 10 years. I do basketball, baseball, volleyball. I got to stop doing basketball because I can't keep up. Try water polo. So it's a good activity if you want to get into it. If you want to do a little side dollar, making some dollars is there for you. And that's in my report.
Thank you, Trustee Brown. Okay, last thing for the committee reports is finance. Trustee Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, everybody. With the financial statements, we are making progress. It's been brought to my attention from artists at a meeting with them that we may need additional services. They have been finding errors in payroll, errors in collections and billing for water billing. And so we may need additional services that they are going to come to the board very soon. We just want to make sure that our current financial statements, that we don't continue to have financial mistakes. We've already been past the year and we cannot keep blaming all the financial mistakes. We're not going to start making changes and ensure that they at least put a stop on the cost. So that is going to come to the board soon, to have additional work by John Casper Group to help with payroll errors, billing errors, and other internal control errors. Currently, Village of Dolton. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Trustee Brown. Okay, Mr. Administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening to everyone. Just to add on to what Trustee Hunt just said, I just want to make clarity that we're not necessarily talking about errors that have been committed since this administration was in place. There have been errors that have been found from the past that have been nightmares in figuring out retro pay for the unions. So there are some discrepancies there that need to be straightened out. I think currently, and I think Ms. Miller would attest to it, we're pretty comfortable with the payroll as it is today, but there were mistakes in the past. That being said, I have two items for discussion. One, I will be meeting with the Saval Group. They've called for a meeting for this Wednesday. They are bringing forward not the proposal, but it is time for the renewal. If you remember, this was a topic for discussion that was pretty heated last fall, late summer, early fall. The actual renewal date is in December. We're on top of it, where we're staying in front of it. I would just ask the board, do they want to put out an RFP for the workman's comp and the liability insurance, such as we did for the health insurance and dental insurance that we did last summer? Is there any thoughts on that, or do we just stay with the Saval Group and continue to go along?
I suggest that we put out an RFP since the premium increased by $164,000 in the annual year. So I'm not sure if we've had any significant claims this year, but if in fact we have, there may be an opportunity for us to reduce our premium for our workers.
I think we should go for the RFP.
Mayor, if we're going to do an RFP, it would be done sometime in the month of October, so that we have time to bring it forward for discussion. I don't want to be doing this last minute in December or January, like we did last year. Any other discussion, or anybody else want to weigh in?
I would like more information about, I didn't know that the fee was increased by $164,000, so if someone can maybe give me information. I know that the Saval Group actually found a lot of errors and help with different things, so just kind of, if I could get the information about what the current work they did, I see year, but it seemed like just yesterday we just got to the scene, the opportunity for me to do the best job possible. I do want to know where they're at now, what's going on, how much did these premiums really increase. Not saying I never seen these numbers.
And also, well, those numbers should be reflected in the budget.
I'll put something together this weekend for a meeting.
Also, there was an increase in our deductible from $50,000 to $100,000.
Our deductible, not to correct the mayor, but for workman's comp we are self-insured currently for $500,000
On the deductible for the workman's
each
comp
claim.
Right.
So if someone wins a arbitrations hearing for, let's say, $300,000, that's not covered by insurance. That's all right.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like something we need to get some.
So I'll get the numbers, I'll put the deductibles down, and I'll send it out hopefully by Thursday or Friday.
There was an increase in the deductible, though,
Yes, it was an
from the
increase.
original $50,000 to $100,000.
Because what I recall is they didn't even work out these numbers, so whatever we have, like the previous person that got the job taken from us, so like this year would be the first time they get to actually work on the numbers. I think the other group, I might be wrong to recall, the other agency did the work, came up with the numbers, and it was such a last minute change that he had to go with the previous guy's numbers.
I hope I'm not speaking out of turn, this all happened prior to my being hired.
No, Trustee Hunter, if you remember, the board was kind of upset because I brought somebody in that gave us to work with us.
I wasn't upset, man. The board wasn't upset.
Can I finish?
Yeah, you can finish, but
Okay.
the board was not
Can
upset.
I finish?
Yeah, you can finish. The
One
board
of
wasn't upset.
one of the sticking points was the fact that you said I didn't notify you, and you even said it, and we can go back to the tape.
Yeah, we need to go to the tape.
you-
Why you put words in my mouth?
You want to finish up?
Yeah, well, I believe if you're going to speak, be truthful about it. You said
That is
the
true.
board was upset.
That is
The board wasn't upset.
The board was upset. One of the facts was
But you just told me if you want me to speak, I'm going to speak.
Okay, finish.
So I'm just saying, give the board a chance to do their part in it. Because every time it's a disagreement, it doesn't mean that we're going against you, man. It's just that there's different views on different things that comes up, that's all. We just being just as humanistic as ever, just looking into different situation that comes up. Instead of just saying yes, 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 or no, no, no. We're just doing some investigation, that's all, man. So don't take it as though the board is against you because we don't agree with everything that you say. We don't agree with everything that we say. And we know that's only being human. So we need to get to the point where we can agree to disagree. That's all I'm saying. That's all we're trying to do. So I just wish you just take out your mind thought that we're against everything that you're doing. The board is not against everything that you're doing. We're trying to work hard as we possibly can to bring this here together.